When we talk about the order of operations in regards to symbols and expressions, we need to introduce grouping symbols that will help us with the order of operations. Grouping symbols. Grouping symbols. Now, what is a grouping symbol? Well, it's something that helps us determine different groups of, we can group an expression together with parentheses or with brackets. You may see those. But also when we're talking about fractions, the actual division line can be used as a grouping symbol. And the grouping symbols tell us to evaluate those expressions first before doing anything else. And it may be easier to explain with an example. So, for example, if you have 4 plus 6 times, or plus 5, you're going to do what's in the parentheses first, and then you're going to get rid of the parentheses and do what's outside the parentheses. So the first thing you do is what's in the parentheses. So 4 plus 6 is 10. And you still have the plus 5 on the outside. And then you get rid of the parentheses. So it becomes 10 plus 5. And that's just going to equal 15. Now the same thing with a fraction line. If you have something on top, 4 plus 6, and then you have something else on the bottom, let's say 2 times 1, you're going to want to do what's on top first, and then you're going to do what's on bottom before you divide anything. So what's on top would be 4 plus 6, which is 10, and then the bottom is 2 times 1, which is just 2. And now you can do the division, 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So that has to do with the order of operations with grouping symbols. So anything that's grouped, you're going to do first. And then you're going to do the other things. Okay, another example could be A times 3 plus B. Okay, and then if they tell you evaluate this expression, okay, remember those words from a previous lesson. Evaluate just means solve for this expression. And I'm going to say A equals 5 and B equals 2. So evaluate this expression for A equals 5 and B equals 2. So what we're going to do is substitute the 5 in for A and the 2 in for B, and we'll rewrite it. 5 times 3 plus 2, and then we're going to evaluate that expression. Now all I did was replace the A with a 5 and the B with a 2. So using the grouping symbols, we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So the 3 plus 2, which is 5. Okay, and now this expression says 5 times 5. If a number is right next to the parentheses, that just means multiplication. Since there's no plus or minus or anything like that. So 5 times 5 is just going to equal 25. Okay? So that should make a little bit of sense. Let's do one more example. And I'm running out of room, so I'll make a little box up here. Let's do 8 times 4. 8 times 4 plus 16 over 2. Okay, the only grouping symbol in this one is the fraction. So if there was anything on top, you would do that first, and if there was anything on bottom, you would do that first. But order of operations, you may remember PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, the P is parentheses. In this problem, there aren't any parentheses, so we don't have to worry about that. The E is exponents. There aren't any exponents here, so we don't have to worry about that. M is multiplication. There is multiplication, so we have to do that. So 8 times 4, which is 32. Okay, we've done the multiplication. Now the next thing is division, and you can usually do multiplication and division at about the same time. So you do 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So we've done the division. So now all we have left is the A, which is addition, because there is no subtraction. So 32 plus 8, which equals 40. So that's order of operations. You've seen the grouping symbols. The only other thing could be, oh, here, let's do one more. We have time for one more. Let's do 2m over n. And let's say m is 6. M is 6. And n is 3. So we're going to substitute 6 in for m. So the 2 times m becomes 2 times 6. And that's going to be over n, which is, we're going to substitute the 3 in. So now we have to remember that this fraction bar is a grouping symbol, so it divides them. So you want to do everything that you can on the top before you do any division. So 2 times 6, which is 12. And then you have the 3 on the bottom. And now you can do the division. So 12 divided by 3, which is 4. Okay, I hope this made sense.